this is the big one. And this isn't a free agency transaction. It's an agreement to engage in a trade when the league year begins, 4 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday. DeForest Buckner from the 49ers to the Indianapolis Colts for a first-round pick after the 49ers did a 5-year, $85 million deal with Eric Armstead. Buckner breaks the bank. It's a real $21 million per year deal for DeForest Buckner, and a stunner. A stunner. This is the stunner I was referring to earlier today. I thought the stunner involved somebody else, but this is the stunner. Are you stunned?
I can't say that I'm stunned. I can't say I wondered throughout this whole process how the 49ers were going to sign all these guys. I mean, how much money can you allot to the defensive line position alone? Hey, I'm all for having depth and talent on the defensive line, but at some point it's going to compromise other areas of your football team. And I think the 49ers were dangerously on the verge there. So I think the first thing I thought of was, when I saw Eric Armstead sign the 5-year, $85 million deal, I believe, like you said, I went, ooh, well, they're not going to franchise DeForest Buckner, too. I mean, are they really going to have like 60-something million dollars tied up in defensive ends or something like that, let alone, 2 top 3 draft picks at the position as well? That didn't make sense to me. So I was expecting to hear something. I had no idea it was going to happen today. And I did not know it was going to be the Colts. It's a great move by the Colts and the 49ers. I mean, that's the first thing I'll say. The Colts need a difference maker in their front seven. They got a lot of good. They got nobody that's great. And they got all this money to spend. And I think this is a good start for them right here to spend it wisely and improve their football team.
Yeah, and this is something the Colts don't do. Chris Ballard, the GM of the team, resists spending big money early in free agency. And this really isn't an early in free agency deal because it's not a free agency deal, but it is top of the market just behind Aaron Donald for an interior defensive lineman and a first-round pick given up to get DeForest Buckner. That's what makes this a stunner. This is the kind of investment that these Colts have not been making, Chris.
No, you're right. I mean, Chris Ballard is usually a total value type guy, but he probably looks at his roster and goes, man, I got a lot of value. I've done a lot of good things here in my start with the Colts. I need to start getting guys who can win us football games when it's 20-17 in the fourth quarter and we're beating the Houston Texans. I need a guy that can go corral Deshaun Watson and make the big stop to where we can get off the field and win a football game. So I'm sure he recognized that. And, within that, okay, I commend him for the move. I think it's a big-time move. Is it a little rich for me? Yeah, it is. I don't think DeForest Buckner, in my eyes, all right, or my evaluation of, film, and I'm Ron Jaworski, I watch the film, right, as we always have fun with, but just comparatively speaking, okay, the good thing is he has position versatility, which I love for the Colts, but I do still think it's expensive. Do I think he's as good a player as Grady Jarrett, Aaron Donald, Akeem Hicks, who played the same position he does in football? No, for me, I think he's a notch down from those guys. But nonetheless, it's a new year. He's one of the big free agents one of the big acquisitions at his position, and he's going to get paid accordingly. So good for him.
And look, this is something the 49ers are going to have to deal with. I thought they'd let Eric Armstead walk and keep DeForest Buckner. But when it comes down to it, 5 years, 85 or $21 million a year for Buckner, the 49ers are in position to best know which of the guys they want to keep. And really, you could argue you don't need either guy. As long as you have Dee Ford and Nick Bosa on the outside, you could find guys to put in the inside, and they're going to face single team. They're going to face reduced attention. It's going to be easier for them to do their jobs because everybody is going to be obsessed primarily with stopping Nick Bosa.
Yeah, well, that's right. Bosa's the best player on their football team. And, I mean, I think you could already make a case that he's one of the 2 or 3 best defensive players in all of football, maybe with Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack and probably a few Stephon Gilmore. I mean, he's in that convo. You always need interior D-line. You always need some size. We know Buckner, Armstead are giant human beings. I mean, we saw them in person in the divisional playoff games. I mean, I always call them tree trunks because that's what they look like. They're gigantic. I think ultimately, obviously the 49ers must have had some inkling that Buckner was going to ask for too much money, and that's why they decided to go with Armstead and move on from Buckner. But the value of these guys, though, Mike, like Armstead and Buckner, too, is it does give you the great versatility to go, okay, we're playing a passing team this week. Okay, now we can leave D Ford and Nick Bosa on the outside, and now we got Eric Armstead in the middle to be a disruptor. Oh, no, now this week we're playing, let's say, the Tennessee Titans in a power running team, and you want to get big up front. Okay, well, now maybe we can move DeForest Buckner, to defensive end. We can move D Ford out to linebacker, Nick Bosa be the other D end, and now we could have two other true D tackles in the middle to get big and stop that type of team. So I think that's really the value in those type of guys. It's that versatility to where they can be a mismatch inside in the pass game and then be a mismatch on the edge in the run game, and that's where their real value is.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.